Okay, now, this is a two-part contraption with a seal inside there, a teeny seal, which is this seal here, and the large seal goes on here. And for the part numbers, they'll be in the description on the video. So what we want to do is take, again, some fine sandpaper here. I'm using 220, wet or dry, and just clean that a bit. And then also clean the outside of this, which cleans up pretty nice. You want to use something clean to get your very fine filings out of there. Then, I like these dental tools. And all you have to do is ask your dentist to give you one. And they'll give you a handful if they're a good dentist. And then, we pull that seal out of there. Then, you want to take and put something in there and your dental tool and go around inside to clean that surface in there. And as you can see, I get a little bit of dirt out of there. And then we're ready for our new seal. Okay. Now, note that the seals that were in there, these here, and Mercedes seal, you can see the difference. This is something that somebody's put in out of a selection of O-rings at your auto parts store. Also, this is the genuine Mercedes, and you see the difference between what I took out also from the auto parts store. And this is why they were leaking. So, I've got this cleaned, and I'm going to put a seal in there. And note, also, when I took these apart, it was like that. These actually go like that. Now I'm going to lubricate this with some Vaseline. Okay, so I want to put a little bit of Vaseline on here. And before I put that in the chamber, I'm going to coat the outside with Vaseline as well. So we've got a new seal in there. And the seal side, when you can visibly see the seal, goes down, like so. The other direction, it will leak. Now this is my one with one scratch. So it's going to go in the same way that it came out, since I have the scratch right there, which I scratched onto it while it was in the car. So we want a little bit of Vaseline around here. And I previously cleaned that. Get a new seal on there. Now that's going to be a very tight fit. So we're going to add a little bit of Vaseline onto that rubber. And inside the top of this bore right here, so that that rubber will slide by. And we're probably going to need a little bit of help with a very clean screwdriver. That is such a sharp edge, it might cut the rubber. So we're going to use a fat end here and get that started. Up here at the higher point first. Keeping pressure, I'm forcing it down with my finger as I help that in. Being very careful not to slide the screwdriver this way, or you can cut the surface of the rubber. And there it goes. Okay, that's one down. Okay, now we've got these in with the bigger ring, so we do not see the rubber. One way you can see the rubber, the other way you can't see the rubber. And this is how it should be, so we cannot see the rubber around that little shaft right there. Now I've carefully tapped them down just below the snap ring groove right here, where the snap ring groove is. So we're ready for our snap rings. We can make sure that's in. It should, yep, it just snapped, just how it's supposed to be. And that's also in just where it's supposed to be. Okay, so there's my little scratch. And it's almost in the right position. There's my little scratch right there on that part. I'm going to turn this just a hair. And there we go. And I'm going to install another one here. This one was missing. So, and I put it in the correct position for off. And off is, when you blow on this, you should have no air coming out of here. So let me check that again. There we go. So that's the off position. It was in incorrectly. And we're going to put our locator on. And what this locator washer does is contain how much the piston turns. So it can't turn any further than it's supposed to for open and closed. Almost. There we go. Right there. And as you can see, there's a cutout right here of the top where that tab travels in for open and closed. This one is closed, this one is closed. So we're ready to put it back in the car. Okay, we're replacing this one hose, and the clamp broke on the old hose. So I'm going to use a genuine Mercedes hose clamp here, and I put a drop of oil right here and right here, which is a good thing to do. It makes the clamp turn easier, and it keeps it from rusting inside there. Okay, and there's our new hose, and as you can see, it is a special form to go around this support right here. And the part number for this will be in the text for the video. And we're going to put it onto this snout inside here, which is kind of hard to see. And you want to clean that good before you do it. And use hardening type Permatex. I use hardening type Permatex on all my hoses. That way they never leak. Okay, so I pulled this screw out of here so I can get this pipe up here a little bit easier to get at. And this is steel, so it does corrode and rust. So we want to definitely clean that where the hose goes. And as you can see, I'm getting plenty of crud off of there. Okay, before I tuck it back in there to put my hose on, I'm going to put on some hardening type Permatex on here first. You want the hardening type, not the type that stays soft. If you use this on all your water hoses, including any gaskets that are for your coolant, like the water pump gasket, it will keep the gaskets from rotting and they'll never leak. Okay, so I've got that tucked in there. I'm going to put my clamp on first and get it almost tight before I slide the hose on. So about right there is where I want it. And then I haven't put the screw in yet because it's going to be a lot easier to assemble this first, then put the screw in. Okay. That's just about right. Make sure that the hose is on the right amount and turned properly to loop around this support post. Okay, now I'll put this screw in next and then I'll tighten up the clamp. Okay, I've already put this other arm on, but I realized I needed to show this. Now, I'm lining that thing up just the way it's supposed to be onto that square boss that sticks out of the top of the piston. But if I was to push hard it would literally push this piston down, see, like that. And then I'd lose my orientation here on the square sides of that arm. So when you put the screw in, I'm going to pull it back up. When you put the screw in, you want to be very careful not to push down on the screw. So I'm going to get the screw started, and then I'm going to hold the screwdriver shaft with one hand and turn the screwdriver with another, not even letting the weight of the screwdriver be on there, because that would push that down and I wouldn't get it on right. I'm going to hold that arm real good before I tighten it. So that's ready to go. Okay. I used a clean pan. However, when the coolant dribbles down there, there'll be some crap that washes off engine components. So I'm using a paint filter to filter the coolant. And there we go. Now you always want to start it up and let it get to operating temperature, and then check to see if there are any leaks. So we'll start it up. Okay. So that we warm the engine up a little faster, I'm putting this towel in front of the radiator. Being very careful not to drape it over here because the fan guard is gone on this car. And to remember that there's a towel here in case the hood gets closed. We have attached a little signal to the steering wheel. I also do this when I drain oil. I tie a signal to the steering wheel before I even drain the oil. That way, no matter if I get interrupted or something, somebody doesn't go drive off with the car with no oil in it.